Welcome everybody to Techhnolyze episode 3. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one to dig my myself a little bit further into the world of Techhnolyze. So far we've only gotten to know two characters, which is Ran and Yoshi Katsuo, as far as I know. The dude with like the cap and whatnot. And I mean, technically we've known the Sage and we've known like this big suit guy who's kind of leading the Organos and other gangs basically in the city, but is also kind of a businessman. Like, we know those people. The interesting thing is that our main character, whose name I don't think we know so far, has been picked up. He's been punished a couple of times, lost his arm and all of that shit because he supposedly insulted or assaulted basically a gangster lady after she kind of used him for sex, I guess. I don't know. It's very confusing. But we do have this divide as well between people who are rich and have power and whatnot, who are technolized and have all of that technology, and people who are not. But we see a lot of themes of like the common people who are suffering and who have very little against the people who are high up and have the power. And a lot of this stuff is dystopian, but also very surreal in a way, right? Because we're supposedly underground, but it's very bright and whatnot. Maybe I'm confusing these things and I still have to kind of get a grip of what's actually happening here. But either way, I'm very curious. We've looked into the directors and the character designers. We have Yoshitoshi Toshiabe for the character designs, which I think is very cool. We do have people like Hiroshi Hamasaki, who's been directing Attack on Titan, Made in Abyss, Sangatsu, Steins Gate, and Perfect Blue. So somebody who's very, very experienced. I wouldn't think that they would put down something that doesn't make sense in the end, although it depends on the source material, of course. So I am sure we're gonna get a clearer and clearer image as we go along, and we'll just have to have that patience and wait and see how things are going. And so far, the presentation is really great. It's impactful. It's very atmospheric. You realize that a lot of people who have been working on very major shows like the ones I just mentioned, or even stuff like Ghibli films or Monster are actually working on or have been working on this project. You do see the parallels to Serial Experiments Lane, which is something I've seen years ago, back in the day when Thibaut was reacting to it. Shout out Thibaut. That was crazy, by the way, in one fucking night reacting to all of fucking Lane. What the fuck? Either way, I'm not sure if I was mature enough to actually understand everything about Lane, especially on an artistic level, because in the last couple of years I've become more and more aware of how art works, how filmmaking works, and all of that stuff. So would be very interesting to see how I would react to Lane these days. But our main character's just been picked up by a blonde scientist, experimental scientist, technology woman that is working for the big mafia boss. And we also have Ran, who is traveling with Yoshi to the city. Supposedly she's selling flowers or whatnot, which are very, very expensive. Given the landscape we've seen so far, I believe her. Yeah, let's see where this goes. Techhnolyze episode 3 starts in a 3, a 2, a 1. Bah! I think you want anything at all. Talk to me. I'm your guardian angel. Okay. I mean, we heard that before, but it's really cool still. And I do wonder why I didn't hear it the first time. They're that Eastern European cyberpunk vibe. Is that the length of the sword? No, right? It's just a building. Alright. There's some interesting beats going on here. Something opening. Something being cut. Technophile. Interesting. We have the theme of static again. Mother and child. Or two children. Ooh, that is grim. And that's our main character, right? So it's in the past. Ichise. Is that our main character? No, then she is sick. That shot, she almost looked malnourished, like really malnourished. Oh, sorry, I still had too much volume. I need to put that down in the post edit. And we're waking up to the sight of her, I guess. Oh, please don't show me that again. The events of the past keep flashing. I don't know, this reminds me of Death Note shot. Like the one where he's screaming in agony. Did you just take him, or... Interesting, whenever his perspective is shown, it's very trance-like, right? And she's looking at herself in the mirrored window. Yeah, it's Lucas. Okay. People always wanting to know the future. Not. That is interesting. Doesn't want to create a self-fulfilling prophecy, maybe. People are aware what the future could be. They change their behavior according to it, right? Depending on if they want that to happen or not. Is she eating raw meat? Or is she just eating a steak? Like, by the way, this is very unsanitary in an operations room. Did she think he was dead? This looks like she was abducting him or something. Yeah. Interesting, we have the marble elements in the floor. She doesn't look shocked though. Oh, and it's distorted. It's like negative images of what we've seen before. Wonder how he lost his legs. Yeah, what's that? What's that thing? Maybe they took his arm because he took that, and not because of the woman. Okay, it's got something to do with his father, possibly? 5201. It's fading out, right? It's like somebody he knew. Wonder why she's using the mask. Maybe so people don't recognize who she's looking at or what she's looking at. He has the tendency to stare into space, right? And it's... people would pay attention to that. So she does care more about etiquette than she does care about him. Yeah, she's enjoying that. He can't stand up. Are his legs too weak or are they gone? What do they want with him? That an artificial arm, or is it his arm? Not sure if that's organic or not. It didn't look robotic enough for me to clearly identify it. That's a lot of pills.
電信出てくれないか。大西。
Oh, he's called Onishi.
あんな保存方法でどうするつもりだったのよ。記念品？まさかもう一回自分にくっつけたいと？
Ooh, okay.
とっくに細胞は死んでいるわ。いくらラフィアでもミイラの腕なんてつなげられない。
Raffia. Who or what is Raffia? That surprised her.
ラフ
何？
ィラフィアなんて俺には関係ね
もうあなたが住んでいたところ不審火で焼け落ちてる。
Raffia, so he knows what Raffia is.
どこにあるどこにあるんだよ。
すぐ目の前にあるじゃない。
She's gonna whack him. What a town. I see the wafts of steam and rust in the air. Holy shit. Music kind of reminds me of like Cowboy Bebop or something. I haven't seen the whole series, but I've seen parts of it.
そんなに戦争がしたいか。お前たちに何ができる。オルガノの代わりを務められると。お前の崇拝するキマタ。なぜあいつがテクノライズされているか知っているか。
知ら
なかったのか。肉体原理主義のお前たちのリーダーがテクノライズドだということ。キマタが欲しいのはラフィアだけだ。
What is the Raffia?
自由を解放しようなどとは思っていない。
Crime, extremism, power.
甘ったれるんじゃねえ。教科書通り来てるんなら。
He knows the game. He knows how it's played.
調整してもらったばっかりだってのに。
あなたを拾ったのは偶然ではないと思っているの。
Yeah, of course he did it on
同
purpose.
じテクノロジーを再生産していくなんて退屈だと思っている。ラフィアとテクノライズだけでは人はただ以前の形を取り戻すだけ。もっとケミストリーな結果が私は欲しいと思っていた。
Dynamic.
どうした？
心配しないでいいわ。この手術を正規の金額で請求したら、あなたがどれだけ一生働いたって払える額ではないもの。
あれをどうした？
捨てたりしていないわ。
どうしたって聞いているんだ。
あれが誰なのか教えてくれるかしら。ま、見当はつくけれど。たまにいるのよ。低所得
Can't
層
even
用の
afford
墓
to
地で
bury
すら
the dead in a
葬
low
る
income
お金を持
cemetery.
っていない
Okay.
もの。大抵は自分の妻とか夫とか恋人じゃないわね。お母さん、
Father, maybe? Or was it the mother
あの
actually?
中よ。あのテクノライズユニットの中に入っているわ。細胞だけを無意味に生きながらえさせたって意味がないってこと、あなたも分かっていたはず。
So it kept it
分かって
alive.
いたけど、でもどうにもならなかっ
It's just
た。捨
cells.
てられないのよね。お母さんなんだもの。あのユニットはいわば一つの生き物になった。ただの神経伝達系統と結合して動くメカニズム以上のものよ。バイオサーキットとしてあなたのお母さんの細胞を利用したの。あれがあなたの新しい腕、新しい足になるの。
Oh,
ちゃんとあ
that's
なたのサイズ
that
を
is
測って
insane.
作ってあるわ。テクノライズはいつもオーダーメイド。
But why does she make it for him, right? Because for him it would be a convenience, right? I mean, obviously also a curse, but... I guess she's acting on orders, maybe. And they have plans for him. But why him specifically? Or was he just there and they were like, oh, this might be a tool we can use?
なるほど。
He knows him.
どうしたの？
Somehow.
ただめちゃくちゃなことをして無意味に生まれ無意味に死ぬの。
機械の腕とか足とかそんなもん俺にはいらね
いいけど、あのユニットも道連れにするんだ。自分の母親を自分で殺すのね。素敵。
え。さあ。
Ooh.
ドク、忠告しましたよね。
To be careful.
またこいつに会うとは。あの時もっと私が慈悲深かったら、あなたに拾われることもなかっただろうな。
Why have you not been more merciful?
いきなり人のところに来て勝手に殺すなんて。
切ってはいない。野良犬ごときで刃を曇らせたくないですから。
死んでいたかった。
普通は死んでいるところですけど。
こんなに生きることに執着があるなんて最高じゃない。
お楽しみのところ申し訳ないですが。
え
He's like, you broke it again? What is your connection to all of this, man? Ichise. Alright. So the plot is moving. Shit. This series is so cryptic. Alright, that was Techhnolyze episode 3. We are slowly building up the plot that is going on, right? And we're bringing everybody in position for things to happen, for people to possibly meet, and for things to go off. But we never, like, this is how it's pulling us in, right? We don't have enough material. Like, there's intrigue going on, there's interesting tidbits that we can pick up on, that we have to remember right now, that we have to recognize. Things are subtly explained about the world and how it works and what the players are within it, but we can't grasp it yet. Like, it's at our fingertips, it's at the tip of our tongue, but we can't speak it, right? We can't grasp it because it's not yet, like, we don't have enough information yet to actually form a coherent theory of what exactly is going on and what role our people are playing in it. Obviously, we know factions, we do know specific names now here and there. We don't know certain things happen that are alluded to very silently, very, very, very light on dialogue, right? Very much in the moment, in expressions, in the way people treat other people, the way people look at them, and the way they react to things being revealed to them, especially Ichize in this specific episode. I'd say we go probably right into episode 4. That will be the best thing, I think. We do know that our Yakuza dude, our Yakuza boss, is definitely the chief of the Organos now. Yeah, let's actually let's talk through it. We do know that our friend here, well, not friend, the title is Technophile, which is like somebody who is crazy about technology, right? Or in this case, about technolyzing, about creating something out of your own body. You see a lot of like gear with gas masks and lights, so I do think this is maybe miners or something, right? Low level workers, it seems. And this is his mother dragging him along, being very sad about the person who supposedly hung themselves, which is probably his father, then I would assume, or at least his father figure, basically. And we don't get a good grasp of him, but he has black hair, he seems to be in similar clothing to everybody else. Interestingly enough, he's missing his legs, right? And he possibly even missing an arm. No, he's missing all the arms, so maybe he's got executed or something, right? This looked like, for me, like for a second, like a suicide or something. But maybe this is actually him getting executed, right? It's like an example was been made of him or something. And the mother after that got sick or was mentally so out of it that she decayed, basically. And that was the last he saw of her, right? Her being in her deathbed, being sickly and kind of mangled. Not mangled, but, you know, like very dried up and whatnot. I mean, it could be old age, but I doubt it, right? Because we bring those two situations right into contact with one another. I also like how we're using like the static to represent memories, maybe even traumatic memories specifically. And we do play like the events of what's been happening have been playing in our head constantly over and over like a loop. Makes perfect sense, right? That's what you post-traumatic stress disorder, for example, right? You have certain triggers like smells or sounds or visuals. And suddenly, like it's happening right now to you, you feel like you're in that moment again, right? And it's playing in your head again, that traumatic memory that you've had. Now, a lot of that is combat, right? A lot of soldiers have post-traumatic stress disorder, but it can also happen after other things. Kidnapping. Grape, the R word, you know what I mean. I don't want to get blocked by YouTube. illnesses and accidents can be traumatic as well, especially if you're young and somebody who you were very familiar with, like a person who have been taking care of you, like for example your parents or your mother specifically, dying from a sickness, right? Sickness related or accident related, mind you, not dying of natural causes and whatnot. That oftentimes doesn't trigger trauma. That's just how it is. Yeah, you have a couple of other things as well, right? Accident related is very big. Not every trauma triggers post-traumatic stress or other mental illnesses, mind you. There's events that happen that can be classified as potentially traumatic that you specifically kind of are able to process over time, and it's not going to turn out traumatic for you. Even these things that we're talking about, rape, and death, and being kidnapped, being mugged. Being mugged is, by the way, a very big thing, apparently, that can be very likely to cause that trauma. I guess one of the main elements of trauma is the loss of control, right? The fact that you could not control the situation, and this has wider implications for what's to come afterwards, right? Because this is something that you haven't found a solution for in your brain, right? With processing or whatever. The natural thing about processing grief, processing that somebody you knew was dying from old age or from something not very traumatic, right? Not something very impactful, whatever. They died. Is that you are making your peace with that, right? You put a bow on it. You find a conclusion that you yourself can live with. And that applies to trauma as well, but there's events that happen that can cause trauma, and the reason they cause trauma is probably because it is very hard to find something like to resolve the situation within yourself, right? To find a way to process it properly and make peace with it. Yeah. And we go back to that sequence. I said like it was very interesting because I feel like this specific scene kind of feels to me like a shot of light I've seen in Death Note, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just tripping. Very interesting how we have that very quiet, just low volume talk between Ran and I think it was Yoshi. I don't know, Yoshi, I think. Where it's very hard to talk to somebody who's not giving you back a lot, right? Who's not answering a lot, who's not, right? Who's taking their time to take in what you're saying and not immediately answer, or maybe not answer at all. Being very quiet, being very restricted, being very non-verbal as well. It's very hard to talk to them because it's very, like, most of what we're doing and how we transmit to other people how we're feeling, what we're thinking, is by either talking to them, right, verbalizing it, or by showing nonverbal facial expression, or having posture that kind of gives people an idea of what's going on inside of us. People who are very non-expressive, like Ran, who don't talk a lot, right, like Ran, who are very reserved, it's very hard to read them, and as such it's very hard to strike a conversation because there's so many topics that you could strike that maybe would find reciprocation, right? Find like warrant Ran giving us an answer, but we need to find it among like the billions of possibilities of what we could be talking about. It's very hard if you don't get back, hey, right? You get the impression they're not interested in any kind of conversation and they just want you gone. But oftentimes that's not the case. Oftentimes that is really not the case. Sometimes that people just have a hard way expressing themselves, or they feel uncomfortable talking too much, even though maybe they don't mind telling other people what's going on inside of them. Oftentimes they don't know what's going on inside of them, or they have defensive mechanisms because they got to protect themselves from the outside world because they made experiences that taught them that. Yeah. Grandfather. I mean, she calls him Ji-Jun, but don't think he is. And he's like, don't tell anybody about my future, not me and not anybody else. And I'm like, what are you up to, dude? You're in thick with something and I don't know what, because you're new to this land actually. So what are you? What's your mission? What do you want to achieve here? I'm curious, and how he's gonna interject with everybody else, I don't know. This bitch eating her fucking steak. Like, she is really enjoying having that power over Ichise. I think Ichise was the name. Really enjoying it. Maybe also partially because she was annoyed that he interrupted her, but also I feel like this is like little interruption here. I love the storytelling here when we show the frame and he's partially in the light, right? It's all behind him, the light, and it's kind of lighting him up enough for us to see him a little bit, right? But his face is in the dark. He's facing the darkness, basically. That's kind of reflecting his emotional state. And also we do see the corpse in the beginning, but it's getting darker and darker. That is a black spot for him, something that he feels very, very bad about, right? Very uncomfortable, very sad, very everything, right? That's why the entire room here is dark. He doesn't even want to look at it. He doesn't want us to look at it either. And that's what I'm getting from this shot. Love this shot as well, right? The separated outside from the inside. The inside is a little bit darker. The outside is bright light, right? Shining, almost blinding to a degree. And we do have a person run, in this case, sitting here with the mask. And as we're getting closer to the city, and it's just a wasteland. I find a very interesting choice that we have so much light, bright sky, although we're supposed to be underground somewhat. Again, maybe I'm completely misunderstanding what they're saying, and we're actually not underground, but I feel like they said it a couple of times that we're underground. And her with her legs, one time this way, then this way. I don't know. Restless leg syndrome. Not really, but you know. But yeah, she seems to be really enjoying the power she has over him, but I think over people in general, right? When she's experimenting on somebody. She's almost drowning him, like, this is waterboarding, what the fuck? And she's smiling while she's doing it. She's like, yeah, you suffer. And she's throwing the arm there. And like, she's trying to teach him something, right? This is like a dead arm, that the things are dead, right? And then she's going over to this other thing, which is supposedly a brain jar or something. I don't know, or a cell, like maybe just a couple of cells of his mother, right? Like leftovers, basically, for people who can't afford a burial, and you burn everything else and you just keep that little cell or whatever. Either way, nice reflection shot here. And a lot of fucking, I don't know, I hope those are vitamins, dude. She's absolutely out of it. I don't know what's with her. But yeah, we have that talk, and he's being very emotional, right? But he's also a person who seems to be at the mercy of everything around him, right? Highly traumatized, a lot of bad stuff happening to him. All the people only see him as a tool or something for their amusement of his suffering. And he just wants to know where it is because it's something very dear to him. But yeah, even then she's, I don't know if she is in control or if she's trying to appear as if she is in control, because he's clearly holding her down, but at the same time, and she's looking for like the flask in order to whack him over, so she can't free herself this way. But she is being very defiant, I guess, in the face of that, but also very sadistic at the same time, being like, I know you're suffering and I enjoy it and you can't do anything about it, even if you're choking me. Which is, I don't want to be I don't want to be in a room with her, honestly. People like this make me sick. But yeah, she seems to have a cruel joke, right? Putting the cells of your deceased one into this technology in order to power it, I guess. Right? Maybe the Techhnolyze things they need a soul to power it. What the fuck? What is that kind of voodoo magic going on there? I don't know. Maybe they just need living cells, right, in order to function. But then I'm like, how does that work? What if the cells die? What is the technology gone? Then do you need more fuel? You need to butcher up people in order to get their cells? What's happening here? And what plans do they have for him, especially? Love that frame, right? We do have the bridge, and they're driving through one of the bridges, and he's standing on the other side. There's like the physical separation of both of them. I think it's very interesting and very deliberate that when the car passed by, we do have that moment of, oh, and he's looking exactly at him, and he seems to be recognizing him. So maybe he's connected to him and has some mission or whatever. No, I don't peg him for one of those fundamentalists of pure human organic whatever. Interesting also that we have the highlight earlier on where he says you're leader of like the I don't know how they were called, like the union, right? Who is fighting against the technologization of society. It's like all pure organic whatever. He's technolyzed. He's like, this dude is technolyzed. He's just using you for his like own gain, and it makes sense. There's a lot of people out there, terrorists, for example, right? There's a lot of leaders up there who are just using all of the ground soldiers for their own gain, and oftentimes they don't even believe in the thing themselves. They're just like throwing all of these pawns at people in order to get what they want in the end. A lot of bad people going around like that. I mean, to be fair, US did a lot to just train these people as well, right? So there's a lot of them CIA agents, or at least CIA trained like splinter cells of like people who were useful in the region, destabilized it in a way that the US could take advantage of that. I mean, Russia did it the same way, like all of that stuff going on with the nations. I don't know what plan they have for him, but apparently they have a plan for him, so let's see what that is all about. I'd say we jump right into it. I do hope that I have enough battery for that. I think I do. If my battery runs out, it's possible that I can't do too much of a long discussion at the end of the next episode, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, Techhnolyze episode 4 starts in 3, 2, 1. Intro. I wonder who's guardian angel. I could imagine both, right? Run for Ichize for run. Those were the punks that we've seen on the street, right? Like the gang members. I gotta say, one thing I really love about these old anime is that they knew they weren't like the most high resolution things. And they owned that. Right? Like the way they use the distortions, the tricks they use, all of these things are complementing the series. And that big monument in the middle. This looks like nuclear winter or whatever that is. Like the little particles flying, like that's how it's being displayed these days. Like nuclear winter kind of style atmosphere. It's a hand. And a very like detailed drawing of a hand. Bones and whatnot. Ooh. All of those. Like that reminds me of Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, definitely. This is like very Ghost in the Shell. Is this the hand we saw earlier? Is it moving on its own? Synapse. Synapse. Alright. Oh, the broken glass? That is cool. And he's just standing on it. A doll that is... Right, a mannequin that is half decayed. All of the, like, the architecture is so interesting with, like, the stairs going up and... Every shot, something interesting. This place feels very lifelike. And we're engaging so much with it, right? Going over people, moving through the streets, it feels real. I wonder what he thinks about this place. Like, and how it is in contrast to where he comes from. Probably gonna take us quite some time to actually get his thoughts on that. Missing an arm. So much smaller than him. Malnutrition, right? Can stunt development on all areas. She's standing out so much, right? With the red hair and...
今のテクノライズユニットは第4世代目にあたり、
Fourth generation.
初期のものに比べ強度も応答性も圧倒的に向上しているの。私がここに来る前まではいかに人工的な感覚を覆い隠し違和感をなくすかということにプライオリティが置かれていたのだけれど
So there's a sense of discomfort
私
happening.
はノーマルと全く同じものになり得ないテクノライズを肉体と同じ比重同じ強度同じ筋力にすることに意味なんてないと考え
I mean,
テクノライズユニ
fair.
ットを発展的に改良してきたわ
Although you have to say that it also becomes harder to actually learn using them, right?
分かっているな。
ルクスの町を実質支配しているのはオルガノと呼ばれる組織。もともとは山、すなわちガベの長老が緩やかな自治を行っていたが、強い闘争力と組織力によってその座を奪っている。
Combative capabilities, alright. Do they achieve that through technolization or through guns? What kind of mannequin is that? Looks like a nun or something. We didn't have a lot of religious imagery yet, which is very interesting. Fanatism, yes. Technology versus organic, but not religion. I mean, you could almost paint that frame here as religious, and with the light shining through the larger-than-life windows. I actually seen Monster use a similar like framing on some of its episodes. I wonder what all the little symbols mean because I can't really interpret that. And what he's doing while he's lying down. Is he just relaxing, right? Or...
祭りを望んでいない。
テクノライズのコアテクノロジーはいくつかに分けられる。分子工学のフェイズ、
molecular engineering, mechanical
主に神
engineering,
経系とリンクするバイオのフェイズ。
nervous system, right? We need a link to...
そのものの機械を正しく動かしてもらうために、テクノライズユニットはナノカーボンのインターメディエットで人体と結合する。テクノライズユニットは消
nanocarbon.
化体をターゲットとして神経情報を脳の運動野と相互に情報を伝えるの。テク
Okay.
ノライズを施された人間は視覚領域の中にテクノライズユニットがもたらす情報が見えるようになる。鬱陶しいかもしれないけど、ユニットが正常に働いているかどうかをモニタするのは、テクノライズドにとっては必要な
Of
こと
course,
だと
of course.
我慢してね。もう一つテクノライズにはなくてはならないフェーズがあるわ。ブラックマジックのフェーズ。あなたのお父さんが生きていた時の仕事。
She knew his father. And his father was Raffia. That's his name? Or was it...
ずっと試行錯誤が繰り返されてきた。ティシューエンジニアリングによる肉体の再生も今の私たちには適用しない。他者の肉体部位を移植するにしても私たちには拒否反応が強い。
Although there would also probably be a way to do that. What are you doing? Lady, what are you doing?
地中深くからだけ採取できるラフィア。
Raffia, okay.
私、おしゃべりすぎ？仕方ないわ。インフォームのコンセントは義務だから。被験者、失礼。患者さんとはちゃんと分かり合い。
Lady, what are you doing?
同意してくれると嬉しいけど。
This is not consent. Hello, please. This is not consent. Stop. I'm asking myself the same thing. Right? Find it very interesting, we talk about it later, how the contrast is of this scene and the other one that we had with him. Ooh, the black and white? Really cool. We almost have no color in there, a little bit brown, but not a lot. So you're searching for something. Or maybe you're meeting someone. Oh, holy shit, he's looking for him. Onishi-san. Oh, and he knows him too. The two of them know each other. Or maybe he was just nodding in the sense of, hello, good sir. Very mysterious. This is a meeting with somebody important, right? Somebody powerful. Maybe her facility? I don't think so though. It's very much a lot more technological. You want to traumatize him further? Hello? Maybe it's important for like mind-body understanding, right? Yeah, he's meeting with somebody. Terrorist leader or something. Faction leaders. Alright, is that the Union? The Salvation Union. A meeting of hostiles. It's built up very communist style, right? Very socialist.
なるほど。さすがにその年でオルガノの統括部長になっただけのことはある。評価していただいてどう思う？できれば静かなところで話したいのだが。
No spectacle.
全て血を分けた兄弟。休民連合の者は身も心も一つにある。
Even more.
ところにのこのこ鉄砲玉をよこした。周りが見えていないアホとも一心同体だと。客人を迎える部屋くらいはある。
And the Salvation Union lives in the fringes of society, right? Trying to empower those who... or to instrumentalize those who are unsatisfied with the state of things. Focusing a lot on his eyes and how he's staring blankly into space. Yes. Interesting. I do wonder.
ルクスは予想通り興味深い世界だ。
It's like he's an explorer to a different world.
ここの人間も同じく劣化しているが、それゆえか、ここでの暴力、ここでの強者が手段とするのは、相手の肉体を欠損させること。ルクスは力に支配されている。
We'll look at that later.
世界を築き、そこへ己を封じているクラスの人間は存在しないのと同じ。生きているということを主張している人間は、オルガノの力の支配の下で。
Something tells me he's gonna teach them a lesson. I wonder how it feels when the nerves connect, because gotta be weird as fuck. But what I was gonna say, like, if it would feel more like a real hand, I mean, she dismissed that and maybe rightfully so, but if it felt more like a real hand, it would be easier to learn using it. Oh no, he's not gonna teach them a lesson. They actually got that thing. Alright, bro, how did the meeting go? Dude has a headache. Alright. Okay, I mean, I guess maybe it's in her job description. What are you critting about? Stop drinking out of your stupid shit. Love that shot. With all the wires going between the houses. Ooh, that's a lane shot if I've ever seen one. What are you up to, Ron? Are we gonna get saved by Ron? Oh, she's nervous. Gonna be really hard, right? Like almost a self-soothing gesture, or very tense.
返してくれ。銃だけは持って行っていいから。
気に入らねえな。銃はくれてやるだってよ。何様のつもりだよおめえ。
What's in there that's more valuable?
そんなにこいつが大事なんだな。
頼むよ。乱暴にしないでくれ。
うるせえなこいつ。こんな銃どこで手に入れたんだ。まだまだ手に入るのか。
さあな。
気に入らねえ。もう二度と俺らについてこれねえようにしてやる。おい。
Ooh. Ooh, he's Techhnolyzed. In a way.
だったらよかったんだけどな。
That would have been nice, so it's not.
これぐらいにしてやってくんないか。
Who are you? Slick looking
こいつやってくれよ、シンジ。うせえ、黙ってろ。
Shinji.
君はラカンのリーダーかい。うちのバカがした粗相、謝らせてくれ。
He knows of him at least.
僕の荷物さえ返してくれた。あんた。
Interesting.
我慢して。テクノライズユニットがあなたの運動野とネゴシエーションをしているの。じきに正常に見えるわ。
Okay. Still don't know how it works, but it's cool nonetheless, right?
そう、ええ、ご心配いただかなくて結構よ。あの被験者に導入したプロセスをあなたのユニットに応用しようなんて考えないから。そうね、気をつけておきます。それよりあなたの足の方は？そう、しばらくはそのままで様子を見てみましょう。
Ooh, what are you gonna do? He just woke up. And he's not realizing it. Oh, these are the gangsters that we saw earlier, right? Also from maybe a gang or something. Or maybe just hooligans, I guess. Also possible. Oh, they belong to Shinji, okay.
困るぜ、行き先も言わねえで。
あれ？誰あの人？
角と陽一がアホな真似してよ。
Kak and Yoshi.
それは私の感知しないところだわね。それはあなたの個人的なお願い？それともオルガの代表としての命令？
Ooh. He's hesitating though.
何するの？
こんなもんが俺の腕かよ。
感謝しなさい。あなたのようなものがテクノライズを受けることなんて。
He can't control it yet. And it's hard. At least he didn't break it.
も切れてないのよ。あなたの意識はまだ正常じゃないの。いい？あなたは生きたい、生き続けたいと強く思った。私はその願いを叶えてあげたの。私はあなたにとってそういう存在な。
Don't yap. This is no time to yap. You get them to calm down. Is he feeling that pain or is he not?
おかしいだろ。
That is a very interesting shot. Interesting frame. The hand. People seemingly moving past. Is Ran seeing this? Is she seeing him coming towards her? Or is he seeing this? I think Ran is seeing this. A vision of a possible future. Yeah, she's observing this. You saw it. Alright, my battery is gonna fucking get killed, so don't be surprised if there's suddenly a cut. What an interesting episode. Not battery, memory cut.
間のいない時間死して賢者となりなさい。